See? Well, I can fix things sometimes.
Okay, angle a little that way. A little more. I think that's good. Maybe bring it in a little closer to us. Close-ups, closies. That's good. A little more her way. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, eventually, we're going to get some people watching. What's up, Eugene? The first person on. All right, so what we're going to do now, the sound sounds pretty good. So I'm just going to run this intro. And then I'll do these upcoming events. And we'll get into this bullshit.
We have something to tell you.
No. Nope. Jumped the gun there. Didn't even wait for the signal, did you? We didn't get no signal. Okay, ready? I'm gonna run this.
Good thing we need you, isn't it?
You know what? People are probably watching football right now.
Yeah, why are you doing this now?
The National Football League playoffs are on.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about that a bit.
I wasn't going to watch those today.
I don't even know who's playing, or who's in, or who made it, or who didn't make it. Saints and Vikings? That sounds fucking terrible. Hey.
That was us last night.
You guys can watch us and the game at the same time. Stop fucking around. Put this one on your phone, the game on your TV. Yo. You beautiful motherfuckers. I'm here Sweet Life Saturday edition, except Sunday, technically. Sweet Life Saturday edition of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast. I'm your host, Ty Lumley. This lady to the left of me is Jamie Sweet. On your screen, it may look like it's to the right because we're doing selfie mode and everything's flipped. What was I going to say here?
I think you were going to say we're lucky to be here today.
Actually, you know what I was going to say? We got to run that intro again. Because I have not pushed the record button. Listen, this is the thing. When we're doing a live,
get this right.
When we're doing a live and a podcast, you got to get coordinated, man. We got to get this coordinated. All right, so you ready for the intro? I'm glad I caught that this time, actually. Yeah, we're going to replay the intro.
It's not catching up.
Oh.
Hates me, doesn't she?
I got a lag.
Story of our lives, Katie. We got a lag.
Don't worry about it, babe.
We got a lag.
No, we're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's okay.
You think they know?
Hang on. Okay. We're going to do the intro one more time. Not you, though. Are you just watching?
Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully we'll get some people in here to ask some questions. Eugene, if you got any questions, today's the day, my friend. Pull the trigger. Put them on there. Can't promise we're going to answer them. We might ignore you for no reason whatsoever. We might not answer any of your questions.
Tell me about Eugene. What's
Eugene's daughter has a mega son.
Oh,
one of the
really?
junior handlers that
Okay, that's right. I did
that program with there.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yo, you beautiful motherfuckers. Episode 80 of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast. Every 10 episodes, you guys know how we do it by now. If this is the first time listening, every 10 episodes we do a questions from the listeners kind of vibe. Sometimes we get a lot of questions, sometimes we get no questions. This week I've actually got a nice little story to tell about the events that happened yesterday. We had a fucking eventful day yesterday.
Unplanned.
So the sound sounds all right. We'll put these over here. Anyway, if you don't know me by now, I'm your host, Ty Lumley. This is Jamie Sweet of Blue River Bullies. Also, basically created the Shorty Bowl. So, If this is your first time watching, also check out Jamie Sweet on Facebook or BlueRiverBullies.com. Now, before we get into any of this bullshit that I want to tell you guys about, I want to tell you where I'm going to be. Upcoming events for Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV and me as a judge. January 27th, I will be judging the ABKC Super Bowl 4, hosted by True Phase Events. It will be held at the Georgia National Fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia, at the Heritage Hall building. Now, that's important because that's a big venue. There's multiple buildings. So if you're going to be in Perry the 27th, Heritage Hall building. Any booking info or questions you have, contact Rolando Mata on Facebook. That's M-A-T-A. Don't be confused by the imposter. There's a bunch of different spelling. Rolando, M-A-T-A. The next one, February 3rd, I will be emceeing. I'll also be doing a live podcast available for photo shoots and video shoots at the ABKC UK Back to the Future UK Bully Fest 4. That's a long-ass title to a show. I didn't realize how long that was when I wrote it down. February 3rd at the Sutton Leisure Center. It's advertised as in Liverpool. I have a feeling that is in Sutton Leisure Center. It's the UK's #1 bull breed event for the past 4 fucking years. I was at the first one.
Wow.
I was at the first one there judging, and I think I was at the third one there judging. The venue's awesome. It's always packed. If you have any questions about booths or dates or any questions at all, contact Sean Main. March 25th, I'll be judging the ABKC Art of Bully Show in Bangkok, Thailand.
That's awesome.
Thailand, if you got that. That's at the MCC Hall on the 4th floor. If you have any questions about the exact location, a lot of these words I can't say. The town, I can't even say it. If you have any questions, contact Apina, or just, actually, you know what? I can't say her last name either, so just private message me, and I will link you directly with the show host.
When is that one?
March 25th.
Okay, I have to write that down.
Bangkok, Thailand. That's going to be a good one. I have never been to Thailand, so I'll be adding a flag to the sleeve also on that trip. That'll be great.
I think I should be an accompaniment on that trip. I just do.
No, I better.
I think I better. We'll make it a sweet family vacation. It'll look like the goddamn Griswolds
whoa.
going to Wally World.
I'm out.
June 2nd, I'll be emceeing, doing a live podcast, also available photo shoots and video shoots at the Magic Bully Canada ABKC Show 2. I judged the first show that last year, the first ever show in Canada. This will be the second ever show in Canada.
That's another beautiful venue, too.
Quebec, Canada, at the Hotel du Lac Carling in Grenville, Canada. Now, it's advertised as a Montreal show. It's actually a little bit outside Montreal in Grenville. Contact Matthew Kwan about that. Quann. Any questions? Booths are almost sold out already, and that motherfucker's not till June. So, hit that up. We're waiting on an exact date for Euro Nationals. I know I will be involved in that show. I'm not sure the capacity yet. MC, judging. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. Podcast, commentary. I don't know. I will be there for sure. Euro Nationals is in Scotland this year. Big fan of Scotland. Also big fan of Euro Nationals. I judged the ABKC Nationals here in the United States. I'm not sure if they're going to put me back-to-back nationals for judging. If they do, obviously I'm going to say yes. If they ask me, obviously it's going to be a yes. But I don't know. So even if I'm emceeing, I'm still going to go. I'm not going to say no if they ask me. Also, Australia in August. So Euro Nationals will be in June. Waiting for the exact date, but the last 2 weekends in June, one of the two. And Australia in August.
Nice.
The
That's
schedule.
a full schedule.
The schedule is getting.
It's
getting nice. I'm enjoying what's happening right now already in 2018. Here's the thing. here's the only drawback. There's only one country on there I don't have on my sleeve yet. Here's the positive thing. There's a country on there that I don't have on my sleeve yet. So it's like Thailand's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most right now. But the UK show in June and this Perry event here next weekend in 2 weeks, always packed full of dogs, always packed full of, people. Always. It's always a big event. The Perry show, the first time, I think
Perry show's a fun show too.
John Sweet and I judged that the first time. It was, or not the first show, but the first time we judged down there. It was 300 plus dogs in the ring, all 3 shows. So that's always a big show. The UK show, 2 different times. It's been over 250 dogs, 2 different times I've been there. So it's always a big show. So those are going to be badass. But I like putting flags on my sleeves. So Thailand, here we come. Thank you, Apina. Listen, I can't say your last name. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't want to butcher it. But thank you very much for asking me to do that show. We got to talk about the day we had yesterday.
Well, yes, the day we had. We're just glad we're still here. Our day yesterday.
We had a pretty eventful day yesterday.
It started out good, like it was going to be fun.
Yeah, no, honestly. Okay, so here's the situation. We had a puppy to drop off in Kansas City. We also had another puppy to drop off at the Kansas City airport, but they were like a 6-hour difference meeting times. So we went, we had dinner, we drove down, we were planning on doing a podcast.
I was really excited about the dinner, and the dinner was out of this world.
Yeah, I went to this place. I'm not plugging them until they pay me, but we went to this place that had alligator bites and some seafood, which we're in Kansas. I don't know if you guys know that. We live in Kansas. Not a whole lot of seas around Kansas. We don't get a lot of seafood. So that was good. And it was good. It tasted fairly fresh. Yeah, not like Red Lobster where you could taste the motherfuckers been in the freezer for 6 weeks. Come on, guys. Shut it down, Red Lobster. Come on.
Yeah, it was really good.
Anyway, had dinner, which was awesome. Went to meet our friend of the podcast, Christopher James, a.k.a. Bully the Kid, who's got a new delivery service named called Bull-NA-ChinaShop, where he's basically flying around the country hand delivering puppies. It's like a nanny service, but he doesn't want to call it a nanny service, which I can understand that. Yeah.
Let's talk just for a minute about the difference between hand delivering and why someone might want to do that, because I've had a lot of people ask me about it.
Right. Well, I deliver most of the time. I hand deliver because it's your flight. Plus, I think there's a maybe $100, $125 charge to get the puppy in a carry-on that you carry on with you. Never goes in the cargo hold. Never handled by someone else. It's always in your possession, under your care. I usually do that myself. I usually fly them myself. But now that I know that I've got a safe, reliable person that's doing it, like making it another avenue, another venture,
Yeah, it's a great option for us to have.
I probably use Bully in the bag a lot, I'm guessing. And this guy met us at midnight and then had the puppy delivered before noon the next day. I mean, you can't, that's like a 12-hour turnaround, and it's a safe, reliable person. And
with the puppy all the time. That's the
with
part
the
that
puppy
I love.
all the time. But
it's
even ground shipping, somebody's with that puppy all the time. So even if they're driving, if it's a reliable person, you got to be careful, because sometimes they're not.
You do have to be very careful.
Not reliable people, but
ground shippers.
Even with ground shipping, somebody's there all the time. If something starts going wrong, they at least have a chance to assess the situation and make a decision. Maybe try to do something about it. But like if you just put a puppy in the cargo hold,
think of all the hours. Like we have to leave 2 hours before, so there's a 2-hour drive to the airport. We have to be there 2 hours before the flight takes off. So there's 4 hours additional, just automatic. Then we wait in line. Then we have to get through the lovely girls at the
They're never happy
cargo
people.
desk.
They're never happy
Get me
people.
started on
I don't
those
understand.
chicks.
Why are you mad at me? I didn't make you work for the United Cargo reception desk. I didn't do that. You chose to do that. Why are you angry with me?
And then the puppy goes in the cargo bay, stacked up with a lot of other puppies.
We've seen
And sits there,
shippers drop off 20, 30, 40 dogs going on flights. You're professional shippers.
With a parrot and a cat and, you know,
Who knows
all kinds
what
of
else?
stuff. Which it's okay. It's just a lot of waiting for a puppy. It's a lot of hours, you know, without something to eat or drink. It's a brand new smell. It's a brand new change for a puppy. It's stress. It's stressful.
It's just stress, right? That's what I'm going to say.
And when you get a puppy and it has been airshipped, you should expect, you know, a messy crate. That's
A messy crate,
normal.
a stressed out puppy,
Yeah.
probably a skinny puppy with a bloated stomach because it's stressed out.
It's stressful.
Yeah, I think the hand delivery option is definitely much safer, especially if you got a reliable person. It's definitely the way to go. Shout out to Bully the Kid with Bully in the Bag, dude. I appreciate you meeting me at midnight. That's just where the fucking story begins, though. Okay, that's just where the festivities begin. So we dropped the puppy off. Actually, we went and got something to eat. Went to Waffle House, the famous Waffle House.
Yeah.
Went to Waffle House, had a kind of a weird experience at Waffle House. But then we left and it started snowing at Waffle House. So we dropped Bully the Kid off, dropped the puppy off. They're on their way to fly to Oregon to meet his new family.
I didn't know it was supposed to snow. Okay, or I would have put the brakes on the mission.
No, listen. I don't know if it's our fault for not planning,
Well,
for not
probably
looking
our
at the
fault.
weather, but I had no idea it was even supposed to
Well,
snow.
we have snow, so I thought our snow might have been over for a little bit. We just had a ton of snow. If you saw the pictures, you know.
So anyway, we get blindsided by this fucking snowstorm.
At about, by the time we got done messing around, it was what, 2 o'clock?
2:30 probably,
Yeah.
2:30 a.m. So the ride home from the airport for us is about an hour 45 if everything's perfect, usually about 2 hours. Last night with this snowstorm, it turns into a 5-hour trip home. You can't go, there's no lines on the road, it blindsided a lot of people, I think, because there was no plows out for the first half of the ride home. We're going 35 miles an hour, there's no lines. We're like,
Yeah, it was awful.
you know what I felt like? I said this multiple times last night. We were Vikings traversing the fucking frozen northern Pacific Ocean with no navigating tools whatsoever except our own fucking eyeballs, just like the Vikings. Now, I'm not going to say we're heroes, but we did make it home safe. Everybody's fine.
I really hate to drive in that weather. I mean, I'm not going to drive in it, so he was driving and I was co-piloting and...
Professional.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I lost feeling in my left hand for approximately 45 minutes of the trip. So, wasn't sure if that was a heart attack or if I was having some sort of Bell's palsy. I don't even know what that is, but I just assume that stuff starts going numb. I don't know.
It was just horrible. I'm going to say that. It was horrible. It was stressful 5 hours. I don't like that stuff anyway, but that's the worst.
Well, why are we redoing that? Like, oh, I know why. Because we breed dogs. We have responsibilities. Like, we take... If I give you a date when you're going to get your dog, I take that seriously because you've planned with the kids. You've sat the family down and said, hey, kids, we got a puppy coming on Friday. If the puppy doesn't come on Friday, everyone's disappointed. Everyone's like feeling sad about it. And then you got more days. You got to reschedule everything that's going on and get the dog
taking
there.
off work. And it's an important time for the puppy to go then, too.
Right.
It's a very important time in their life to get their new schedule. And
getting
get
it
the
right
new
the
people.
one time instead of multiple
Right.
trying to do it
And-
multiple times, more stress every time.
So when we drive to the airport, it's 5 hours out of the day, just down there back shipping.
Yep.
So yeah, we want it to all work out, but yeah, it was something.
So that's the end of the night for Jamie Sweet. Okay, that's where Jamie Sweet. We get home. Everybody's good here. Mike Sweet's actually shoveling snow at 3 a.m. for no reason. Everything's fine.
He had a snow day.
When I get
that
home,
was something.
when I get home, little bit of a different situation and scenario. Okay. Little backstory before I get into the meat of this. I have 4 dogs that live in my house all the time. Permanent residents of the housing unit all the time. Okay? 3 of them are adult females. One's Maestro. All right, 2 of them are adult females. The other one's Maestro and Clutch. So we have two males, Clutch the Shorty Bull and Maestro. Okay? They all have, when we leave the house, when I'm home, they're all out. They live together as a pack. When we leave, everyone goes in a crate because that's what responsible fucking dog owners do. You don't leave your dogs out. Doesn't matter how
Right.
well they get along. You're a responsible dog owner. You make sure your dogs are
Well, when you leave the situation, you're the alpha. When you
the
leave,
dynamic changes instantly.
the dynamic changes, and if they don't have that figured out, they will probably try to figure that out while you're gone.
Oh no, they're going to figure it out. I promise you. Dogs have been doing this pack life shit for a long time. Okay, they will figure it out. Somebody in that pack will figure out who's running shit after the leader's out the door. So we have everybody's got their own crate. Everyone has their own box. Esmeralda is a Francesca daughter. Is an escape artist. We'll put it that way. She has no problem figuring out how to get out of crates. So it's a little bit of a challenge with her, but we found one that she can't break out of, or so we thought she couldn't break out of. And usually Cleopatra's real. She's not a super like an aggressive dog at all. She's super chill, but she's also dominant female. She's also one of those bitches where if I leave the house, she's going to be one of the people trying to step into that role.
I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. Can we talk about the ages of everything? Because I think that's important too, to know, when to expect this.
That's super relevant too, because the way it all turns out, the dog that you would expect to come out alpha does. You know what I mean? Even though looking at her physically, you might not expect her. But so Francesca's 7, almost 7. Cleopatra's 4, I believe, and Esmeralda's just about 2 years old. So Esmeralda's the youngest one. Francesca's the oldest one. Cleo's right in the middle. In the wild, maybe a 7-year-old dog is still in their prime, but it's coming to an end. You're getting to the end of your run. Where a 4-year-old dog's coming right into her.
Yeah, that's like a 49-year-old. 7. The 7-year-old.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
Slow down a little.
Not an elderly dog, still a super healthy dog, but starting to slow down, starting to feel that age. Cleopatra, she's right in the prime. She's had super great mom, super successful litters. She produces her ass off. She looks crazy. Right now, she's right into that where that age and that mentality where she's going to try to run the shit while I'm gone. Esmeralda, who's the youngest one, has that same mentality also, but she's just not old enough. She's not mentally there yet, Anyway, I walk into my house, and apparently a couple of dogs have figured out a way to get out of their area, their box, their crate, and it looked like there was a little bit of an argument over some trash. If I had to guess, I would say it started at the trash can. And this is, I just want to share this with everybody because this is a real life situation. This is a real life scenario.
It is when you have multiple dogs.
And this is not that it's not my fault, but not that it is either, because you do everything you can without strapping a straight jacket on your dog. You do everything you can to keep everybody safe and separated. But sometimes, I mean, dogs are dogs. They do what they do and shit goes sideways. Last night was one of those times. Shit went sideways. So you walk in, and I'm not going to get too gory about it, and it wasn't anything like, this dog was dead and, nothing like that. Everybody's fine and healthy. But you could tell that there was an argument and shit got handled how dogs handle arguments. Mm-hmm. And it was a clean, we had to clean the whole house up. I give everybody all the females that were involved a bath to check their bodies to make sure nothing's broken or anything like that, or nobody needs to be rushed to the vet. You get everybody back to their corner, and now you got to clean the fucking house up. Yeah. Because it looks like some...
Well, and you got to calm down, because that always, if you've ever had that, it's a big, huge adrenaline rush.
It's just you're worried about everybody being okay, because you don't know how long you don't know when that shit started. We were gone for 10 hours. So you don't know when that shit started. You don't know how long they were going. You really don't know until you assess everybody. It's like triage at an emergency room. You go give everybody a once over. You figure out who the worst is. Then you give them a real good one second time. You look at them, give them a bath, and check everybody. It's just a stressful thing, and you're thinking it's the worst in your mind.
But it's a very normal part of dogs. It doesn't, if you have 2 or 3 dogs, especially 2 or 3 of the same sex, and they come of age.
Yeah, Clutch, my little Shorty bull, he was also out in the fucking melee, and I walk in, he's just sitting in the corner having a fucking panic attack, and I'm sure it was stressful for him too, because there's 3 dogs that double his weight, all of them almost double his weight. Anyway, it just was a long ass night. I only slept 3 hours, so I look like a zombie, some sort of zombie person. That's why. But that's the dog life. That's the lifestyle that I've been preaching on this channel since I started it on this podcast. Every week we talk about the American Bully lifestyle, the Bull breed lifestyle, Shorty Bull lifestyle, dog life in general. It's going to happen. It's one of those things that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's how dogs figure things out.
And again, everybody's healthy and fine. Nobody had to be rushed to the vet. A couple of nicks and scrapes and stuff like that, but it could have been much worse. And I'm so blessed that it's not, and grateful that it wasn't worse. But at the same time, it's the same amount of stress no matter what, because you always are thinking the worst. Mm-hmm. You always have the worst in your brain.
But even for people who are listening that have, you may be new to this, and that's something always to think about and prepare for. And if it does happen to you, which is very normal, it's how dogs work things out. So it's up to you to provide a good, solid place for them when, it's not a good idea to leave dogs unsupervised when you're not at home and have freedom of the house together.
No, and if you're somebody that has multiple dogs all the time that live in the house together as a pack, especially if they're the same sex, if you have 2 dogs, one's a male, one's a female, mm-hmm. Chances are, unless she's in heat, chances are you're probably not going to have any issues.
But this is another thing to realize. Dogs can get along and get along and get along, and everything can be fine, and they can get in a fight over, the last potato chip, like my boys used to when they were young. It could be the smallest thing,
because it's always a power struggle in a pack scenario. Even if it's just a male female, mm-hmm. There is even if you are not experienced enough to see it and recognize it. There is always a power struggle going on with the dogs in your pack. Always. Always. Now, when you're there, you're the pack leader. Everything's going to run smoothly as long as you are a assertive pack leader.
What does I say?
Caitlin's keeping track of
Okay.
the questions. We're going to get to some of these questions. We got a couple
Okay.
already. But if you have, what I was going to say is, if you have multiple dogs in your house right now, and you're not crating them when you leave, it's a bad idea. I seriously just think about what if something does? What if that happens? What if they have an argument or there's a power struggle while you're gone, and there's no one there to stop the argument before it gets into a real fight and things go sideways? Just think about what if. You might be right, thinking you might be right to think that everything's going to be fine 100 times.
Right.
You might leave 100 times and everything's great, and you think that that's the right way to do it. But what if that 101st time, 101st time, what if shit goes sideways? Imagine.
It's like kids. It's a lot like leaving kids home.
I don't know anything about. Explain it,
that's
because
right.
I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
It's like that
With the
like
kids.
Leaving those 3 home was probably like
But they were all
John,
in
Fred.
there.
Yeah.
When we left, everybody was where they normally are and where they should have been.
Yeah.
It's like kids picking the lock on the door.
Right. Or it's like
I don't know if you do that.
2 friends, Truett and Aslan, and somebody changed the channel on the TV. That's about how easy it can be.
Right.
Well,
I remember my brother and I, it would not take much for an argument to start, because there's a power struggle. Again, whether you're conscious of it or not, there just is.
Mm-hmm. But I saw a thing the other day about, are crates bad? And no, crates aren't bad. I don't know who's putting that out.
Yeah, somebody said crates are bad.
Yeah.
If your dog lives 23 hours a day in a crate and he only
Sure.
gets out 15 minutes a couple times a day to piss, yeah,
right.
for sure. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, I highly recommend them when you're not home.
Yeah, if you're going somewhere, please, just for your own good, crate your dogs. Teach your dogs that their crate is a safe place. It's not going to be a stressful thing
It's
for them
like
to be in a crate. Separation
area.
anxiety, you can get over that with a crate. If you get durable ones, if you got a crazy dog that rips them apart, because there are those, have one myself. You just got to upgrade your crates. You just got to find a crate that's strong enough they can't. You might have to spend a little money. Hey, guess what? It's called life. All right? You might have to spend a little money. It's what it is. And apparently, old dad is going to have to spend some fucking money myself, because Esmeralda cannot be contained.
Well, Jade can't either.
Right?
Jade
right.
Jade just...
She'll jump over shit. She'll go right up over a
Or she'll
6-footer.
just pull the door in. She'll just pull the door in with her teeth. It's crazy strong.
Esmeralda will grab the 2 wire rails that go across the bottom when you close to keep the door from caving in. She'll grab those and pull those right in.
That's what
and
Jade does too.
It's a hole after that. It's over.
It's done.
She's an escape artist.
They figured that out.
Okay, first question of the day, because I can see it on the screen. Jose Cuna from New Jersey. Shout out to Jose. Thanks for tuning in. What is your preferred dog crate? For 99% of dogs, you can go right down to Tractor Supply or Walmart or anywhere that's got the metal wire crates. For 99% of dogs, that's going to be all you need.
I love those. I love those.
They're strong and they're safe. If you got smaller dogs or puppies, you can stack them and they're still safe.
But the air flows through.
And there's no worry about suffocation or even the dog feeling like it's confined in. But for that 1% of dog like Jade or Esmeralda, you're gonna have to step your game up. Plastic crates sometimes are a little stronger if you reinforce the side holes. Zip ties, or I've used bolts also. We used to ship them with bolts on it. sometimes like you can do a zip tie hole in the front and sturdy it, and it'll be enough for those 1%ers. But even those plastic crates will go right through the side of them sometimes.
I would think for your dogs, Jose, you might need to go.
Jose's got American Bulldogs.
You might need to employ a welder.
Right. Now, there's a big crate company in the Northeast, but again, I'm hesitant to advertise until somebody pays me. So, Impact Crates, hit me up. In all seriousness, Impact Crates, the little bit that I've dealt with Impact Crates and seen the quality of the crates, if you got a crazy ass dog or American Bulldogs or these bigger breeds, protection breeds that are strong and really drivey and have a lot of will, hit up Impact Crates. Also, Impact Crates, that's the first and only free one, bro. Let me know. Hit me up. Do you want to do another question?
Sure.
Okay, what? Eugene Hobbs, our first listener of the day. Oh, by the way, guys, share this, please. Share this. The numbers on the past 4 or 5 podcasts have been absolutely crazy. I can't thank you enough. Share the fuck out of this. Give us a like. Shoot a comment. If you got questions, even if it sounds dumb, put it in the comments section. You ever heard that saying? The man with the question is a fool for a second. The man that never asked the question is a fool for life. Ask the questions, motherfuckers. Okay. Next question. Eugene Hobbs. Why are quality females so hard to come by? Males are a dime a dozen, but not females. Why are quality bitches so hard to come by, Jamie?
Well, are we talking about what, bullies? Your breed? I don't think they are hard to come by. I think
you got to be willing to get your checkbook out, Eugene.
You do, and you have to look at programs because programs usually, if they produce a few good bitches, that's something they'll continue to do because that's a very important part of a program.
Right.
So you probably find them in groups at places that have been producing for a while, because it is something we need to pay attention to. I don't think they're hard to find. I think more than that, you have to know what you're looking for, and when you, what do you say, quality bitches. What kind of quality are we talking about? Like quality producer? Are we talking about a show dog? Because those are two different things, and they both have a lot of value. But you'll see different things maybe in those bitches. So, I think just keep looking around and make sure you know what quality is to you specifically.
Right. Have a vision, and I've talked to Eugene, met Eugene in person. He knows exactly what he likes. Mm-hmm. He's got a good vision. Here's my advice, Eugene. You ain't going to find a quality bitch posting a "where's those quality bitches at" on Bully Breed Gang.
Oh.
You're not going to find a quality bitch posting "where's those bad bitches at" on Dax Line Board.
Well, that's why
that's not where you're going to find them. That's where you're going to find all the peddlers, all the people that can't sell their shit. As soon as they see you post that, they're going to be just pumping that post full of garbage. And you've seen it. You've voiced your frustrations publicly about seeing that on there. So that's the last, to me, that's the last route you want to go.
And then I think, too, we see a lot more males because they're more muscle, a bigger head, usually. Not always. Usually. Right. There's a little bit more to them. And I think maybe we see a few more than we do males. But females are out there. You just have to be very specific in what you want first.
So, like
I know what I want for my quality bitches.
But if somebody came to you... Okay, so say Eugene is approaching you saying, Jamie, I need a quality bitch.
Okay, then I'm going to start right here. Okay, Eugene, what are you going to do with it? What do you want it for?
What's your goal?
Goal?
Talked about that first episode of the year. What's your goal with this bitch?
Goal? If you don't know what your goal is, then I tell people, tell me what you don't want. You can use my dogs to tell me, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this. That's fine too. And then somehow we'll get it narrowed down to what you want and what my best assessment of how this will turn out if you do these certain things.
Right.
Maybe I can show you bitches from other litters that she's had, what they look like. I can show you the mother's side, the father's side. Most of the time when you want a bitch, it's important to look at the sire's side of the pedigree. That's
now
an
tell them
important
about that,
thing.
because
Yeah.
this is something that I've seen over and over since Jamie pointed out to me.
Yeah, when you want a bitch, most of the time, females pull from the male side, and males pull from the female side. So it's important in the pedigree that you look there.
Did you read that in a book? What book did you get that out of?
That was from the Jim Grauer School of Hard Knocks.
Oh, so that was from.
Yes.
So you're saying from your breeding experience.
Oh,
and
definitely.
your dad bred dogs for
Definitely.
100 fucking years also.
Yeah.
From your experience, females pull traits from their sire.
Right.
Males pull traits from their mom.
Yes, not
Now,
always.
I
Not
don't-
always.
No, but I got a
lot
great
of-
example. Great example. People ask me if I expected Maestro and Loki to come out of Cleopatra's litter with Bistro.
Okay.
Of course I did, because of Cleopatra. Because again, I have the same philosophy.
Yeah.
If we're going to be pulling from the female, all I got to do is plug in a couple little pieces to this bitch, and that's all I need is her.
And I'm such a strong believer in that, and it's held true for me in all these breeds. But that was why it was important to me in Shorty Bulls in the very beginning to get the sexes of both breeds on both sides of the pedigree, because I didn't want to program 15 years later that I could only have good-looking males, but my females didn't look really that great.
Right.
So I wanted that. That was just another way
Because
for
eventually,
consistency
losing
to
that
happen.
phenotype with your
Right.
females, you're going to lose the genotype eventually also.
Right. So it's kind of a lot to juggle when you're first, it's just a lot to juggle. But, talk to someone who will answer those questions and help you pick it out.
Also, some of us are stingy with our bitches, Eugene.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's talk about that a minute.
I mean, honestly, just like you're saying, to me, dimes are studs are a dime a dozen. If you got the right bitches, you can pick and pluck studs and still have great results without putting too much focus on that stud. I don't ever breed the stud. I'm not breeding to that stud. I'm breeding my bitch. I'm focused on my bitch. I want to improve that female. So when you get females that are on that next level, say a Shiner in your program, say a Cleopatra in my program, you get females like that, you ain't getting that bitch. You're just not. So you got to figure out what's quality, what your goal is, and also accept the fact that you're not going to get somebody's best bitch.
You're not, and then what the conclusion you'll come to.
And stop posting
In time.
where them bad bitches at.
Oh my God,
Because
that's just
you ain't getting no bad
a free
bitches.
post your dog thing.
Yeah, that's a classified post. That's if you want some likes and some engagement and shit and try to sell them something, that may be. But where them bad bitches at? You ain't gonna see no bad bitches.
Right.
They ain't showing up to that, I promise.
And this is why you need some older breeders, and you need to rely on them, for what it is. But you'll probably find out for those bitches that you want, Eugene, you'll probably have to make those yourself.
That's also a good point. That's
You just probably will. I don't think it's a good idea if you're just starting, just to jump in and try that. It's difficult. It's something that it's a slow process to really figure out what you want and what you don't want.
I agree, and there's no feeling like somebody asking you or calling you a bitch that you produced a stud. What's the stud fee on that dude? Hey, that's a bitch.
Yeah, that's a great compliment.
And I produced that bitch.
In our world, that's
the best thing you could ever say to me. That's the best thing you could ever say to me.
Let me ask you this. How long was it before you knew what you wanted? Before you could break that down into five things. What do you want? What do you want? I want the ultimate dog. I want the total package. Well, what's the total package to you?
Right. See, and I think I've told this story before, but I cut my yard in half 2 different times and sold half of what I had twice because it wasn't what I, and even some of it was what I wanted 5 years before, but not what I wanted right now.
And if you're showing dogs, I think your wants are very much different than if you're breeding. Like,
But you have
I'm
to know
never,
your
ever,
wants
ever.
and your goals.
Right.
That's the whole, what we're talking about, the whole base behind this shit. You
Yeah.
have to know your wants and your goals and what you want to do with that bitch.
I want to build the dog I want. That's my goal in every breed. Always what I've done, you know. I want proper structure. I want bully, you know, and I know what I want. But the showing part, I mean, and when somebody says, well, you know, do you breed show dogs? Oh my God, I'd hope so. I mean, if you're breeding to standard,
Right.
and you're striving, I would hope so.
If you're breeding
You know,
quality dogs, they're
So
going
so don't
to
tell
be.
me when you call me, you know, I want a show winner. Well, everybody does, but what? What do you want? You have to tell me.
Also,
what drives you crazy?
I can't
What can you live
predict-
with? What can you not live with? And is this going to be for breeding? Because then we need to look at something else. You know.
Also, I can't predict what judges are going to want. Like, what judges are going to,
Well,
you know, see in the ring when your dog is 2 years old. I can't predict what, you know, what fads and trends are
fads
going
and
on.
trends. And that's a great point you just made there
You
too.
know?
Those aren't always bad. These things happen.
That's
and
just-
it's
that's just
normal.
reality.
It's progression.
It shouldn't be in the show ring. It's fucking reality. Let's talk about real life, man. It takes a special motherfucker to be able to go in the ring every single day and judge to the standard, not worry about anything else that's going on outside the ring. It takes a focused, special motherfucker. You honestly think every judge on every roster is that special motherfucker? No. I promise. I'm not down on any of the judges. I'm just saying a lot of people aren't built like that. They just can't leave that bias or that preference out of it. It is what it is, real life. Let's talk about real life for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, let's get off the fantasy island.
But when we're new in dogs, and new shouldn't hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, new can mean a lot of different things.
Got to be new once.
If
Everybody
you don't
was new at
have,
one point.
if you haven't had 15 or 20 litters, you're still new at that. So, you know, it's all about that. How many times you've seen this? You know what to fix. You know what not to. But part of being new is it's so much more than just knowing the faults or just knowing the anatomy of the dog. It's so much more. You have to know what that affects. You have to know, you know, what's easy to fix, what's hard to fix, what you really want, and what you want to stay away from.
What you're willing to give up to get what you want. You know, you ain't gonna have a 15-inch dog that weighs 96 pounds, and at the same time he's running agility courses and beating German shepherds.
But you have to learn that because
That's
a
impossible. That's not going to
I
happen.
know, but that's a normal thing that people have to learn. It takes a lot of people.
Expectations are blown up out
Yeah.
of the world, out of
Yeah.
whack. Okay, next question. What is your approach? This is from Jose Cuna. What is your approach when your dogs do get in a scuffle? So I'm assuming that he means you're there, dogs are having a disagreement, shit goes sideways. What do? You have way more experience with that than I do, lady, so go ahead.
Okay, well.
Go ahead. Well, I'm just saying you've had American Bulldogs.
I have had a
you've
lot
got
of
Old
experience
English
in this,
Bulldogs.
yes.
Shorty Bulls
Yeah.
are fiery. I mean, that's not a secret. You had Staffy Bulls. I mean,
Okay.
you had English Bulldogs that were probably more agile than most.
The first
than they
thing I
should
can
have been.
say is don't panic. Panic's not going to help anything. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help the dogs. It's not often a cue to the dogs to go harder, deeper, whatever. Panic, you can't panic. No, these damn dogs are going to do this at some point.
Right.
And don't panic. If you have these big dogs, know it's possible that this could happen.
Yo, somebody just hold on. Somebody just commented knowledge college.
Uh-oh.
I'm loving it. I love that. I'm stealing that's going on a t-shirt, sir. Knowledge college, Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay, so American Bulldogs, if we're talking about those, you know they're big. 100 and some pounds. Very strong.
Right.
Very strong and very bulldog-like in the head. They get on something.
Well, they're
You can
built
have trouble.
Built for catch dogs, for the
Yes.
most part, right? Built for farm dogs. Built
whatever, yeah.
to get into
So-
some shit and survive it and be all right the next day to do it again.
Yeah, so be prepared and have some things. I'm not a panicker, in that situation, let's get them apart, get them over there, and it's not very gentle. And
sometimes getting them apart is difficult. Sometimes
it's hard.
That's going to be difficult. Especially because if you start screaming, yelling, your energy goes up. Their
you can't hitting the dogs with skillets, bowls, whatever's in the kitchen, the lawn chair. That doesn't work.
Well, that will work on some weak-willed dogs.
If you do,
but if you got some strong-willed dogs, that ain't gonna do nothing but fire that dog up. If that dog's game and he's gonna go till he's dead anyway, you hurting him is only gonna fire him up more. So that's not a good approach.
I kept collars on everything, so I had a handle always.
Dual purpose, right, with the collar.
Yeah.
You pull up and close that airway off and kind of choke them out and get them apart also, right?
Had a thing known as a break stick. If you do have big dogs like that are aggressive.
How dare you, Jamie? That's a dog fighting word.
Yes, well.
That's a bad word.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud, but
that's a super important thing.
You have to give the dogs, you have to make it stop.
For the most part, American Bully owners are spoiled as fuck, right? Because we don't have a lot of dogs that are strong-willed or what I would call game. When I talk about game, I'm talking about that dog is going until it is dead. That's a game dog to me. We don't have a lot of dogs like that, American Bullies. So we're pretty spoiled. You raise your voice, somebody gets in a scuffle. Most of the time, American Bullies are done with it. They're over. It's good. But again, that 1%, that Esmeralda bitch, that Cleopatra bitch, Remy back in the day, Remy was a dude. Remy would go. It happens. It's in there, right? You can't deny the ancestry, right? There are some terriers in these motherfuckers somewhere, okay?
Yeah, so you have to get them apart. That's the first thing.
Yeah, get them apart. Get them separated.
And put one, that's why you need a cage. If you have these big dogs, have those cages. Put them in the cage. Put this one in the cage. You calm down. You go wash your hands. Then come back, assess the situation, and take it from there. The main thing is get them apart.
You want to know what Jose, our good friend Jose,
what did Jose say?
Jose said, "I've heard when shit goes down to blow in their ear or shove your finger in their ass."
Oh my God, I've heard that too.
Listen,
I have never ever done that ever one time.
Never personally. I mean, I blew in some ears. Never put my finger in the asshole though.
Then they're gonna turn on.
Yeah, especially with thumbs like this. You get that thumb in an asshole, I feel like that dog's coming at me next. That's gonna hurt. That's not gonna be good. All jokes aside, whatever you got to do to get them apart without making them hurt each other even more. That's what you do. You get them apart. You separate them. And when we say separate them, that doesn't mean spread them apart 5 feet and walk away, because round 2 is started. As soon as you turn around, round 2 is started. Get them separated. Get them in a crate. Let everybody calm down. Assess the situation. Check for, cuts and punctures and wounds. A lot of times you'll see punctures on the forearms. A lot of times you'll see big bags on the cheeks and ears from them hanging off each other. It's something that happens. And I've been doing this a decade. It happens. It wasn't something I was expecting to come home to last night. The shit happens. It's called dog life.
Well, and know your thresholds as well. If that's going to make you crazy and you can't handle that, that breed's not for you. That's one thing I like about the Shorty Bulls now. They're very easy to maintain. So they're small. That's a lot different than a 100-pound dog. It's so much different.
It's a challenge, even if you have Pomeranians. It's gonna happen. Pomeranians tear into each other like any other breed. You ever met a Chihuahua? Right. You ever met a Chihuahua? Chihuahuas are the first motherfuckers to get into some crazy stuff, and they're only 5 pounds. It's a challenge owning dogs if you don't know what could happen. Now, none of us know what's going to happen, but we have to be prepared for what can happen.
And when people want to gain all this knowledge and they want to learn and all that, we need to learn how to set up our surroundings and the dog's surroundings not to promote
Right.
this sort of thing.
Set your dogs up for success, not failure.
You're right. And I mean, it could be, don't let two males sit across the room and stare at each other every day and not expect this, even if they're graded.
Right.
You know.
Right. There's a lot of different situation scenarios. It's a tricky thing, man. It's a tricky thing owning dogs and breeding dogs and raising dogs in a pack. You know, my outside dogs, 15, 16, 20 dogs sometimes run together. You've all seen the bully market videos. He's got 10, 12, 15 dogs running together. We've all seen this, and it looks easy sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's not fucking easy. Even if I'm standing there, it can go sideways. It's just not expecting it to happen, but being prepared for it to happen if it does, and understanding that it can at any moment. Because we can't say, "Hey, Esmeralda, how you feeling today?"
Right.
Oh, you're in heat. You're having some cramps. Got a little headache. Maybe not the best day to have her out running around with the whole pack. But you can't say that to her. You can't ask her that. So you got to be able. You know, it's a tricky thing. It's a challenge every day to do this.
Yeah, and you know, the more dogs you have, the more you'll see the subtle little signs of preventing something before it becomes a problem. That's very important too.
Now let's get back to the finger in the ass thing, okay?
How about we just
Who the
not
fuck told Jose to put his finger in a dog's ass?
You've really never heard that before.
Well,
That you've heard that before. I've heard that before.
I mean, man, that's dedicate. That's, you know, if you're in a dire situation and that does actually work, feel free. Stab that butthole all you want, my friend. You have a good time with that.
Oh my.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to go over before we get back into any more of these questions. We seen a post yesterday.
Oh, yes.
On social media that said, I'm not happy. I bought a puppy and I'm not happy with how it's turning out. Should I get a refund or just trade it in?
First of all, where do you trade that in?
I don't even know how to start ripping this person's face off. Honestly. I don't even know how to start insulting this person to where he would understand what the fuck he's saying and how wrong that actually is.
But you know what? I'm going to start right here and then I'll let
Kick it off.
If we had if everybody lived by some of the same, what I used to think was universal principles.
Well, they probably were at one time.
They were at one time. And the unspoken rules, it would teach people from the beginning.
Right.
It would make the expectations more realistic. But
unspoken rules is inherently assuming that people have common sense.
okay, that's true.
Right? Mm-hmm. We know right now, 2018, not really the most common sense orientated population. Right? My opinion. I don't think they can be unspoken rules anymore. I think somebody's got to put that shit out there. You know what I mean?
Right, I do too. And I think
you want to be a breeder. This is the list of rules that you need to just understand before you even start doing this.
And I think that, you know, there's a lot of dogs out there. There's a lot of competition, and you know, maybe that's one way they compete to make a certain level, or those things like that. I really do believe that.
I just don't understand how I don't understand how a person thinks that's acceptable. Right? Or is there no responsibility to the buyer? Did you first? I guess we would need to know more information. Did you go see the puppies in person? Did you pick your puppy in person? If no, if you didn't go see him in person, what the fuck are we talking about right now? You made the decision to choose a puppy off of pictures. You made the decision to choose a puppy off a couple of live videos. You made the decision not to spend the extra $250 and go to that place and pick your puppy in person. So if you didn't go pick it in person, get fucked. 2, if you did go pick it in person, you're the one that picked that fucking puppy. Is there no responsibility to the buyer? Because your eyes were in some sort of ether glaze at the moment. You were seeing through rose-colored glasses at the second. You fell in love with the personality of a shitty last pick puppy. Now that's on the seller?
No, it should.
You want a fucking refund? You want to trade something in? It's not a fucking used car. It's a living being. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do it, man. I can't deal with
I can't
people
either.
like that. I'm so glad I don't know this person personally. I don't even know him, and I almost messaged the motherfucker yesterday just to tell him how ignorant that shit is. I don't think it might not even be a real person. People are saying it might be a troll.
Sure.
Fake account.
Could be.
Could be. Either way, it's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, what's not turning out? Are they in a growth stage that?
How old is it?
We know how those growth stages are. They're awful to get through. I don't care what breed it is. A lot of them are horrible to get through.
Some breeds worse than the other. Like try owning a Shorty bull from 6 months to a year old. Try. We went. I don't know how many times we've seen Rampage himself, the godfather of this whole fucking thing, went through one of the craziest transformations you ever seen.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's rough until you live through a few of them, but...
And I think American Bullies are probably a breed that changes as much or more than any other breed I've ever seen.
There's no breeder out there, I don't care who you are, that can guarantee what a puppy is going to turn out like. It's impossible. No. You may feed it differently. You'll raise it differently. The whole environment will be differently.
Is there a guarantee in that breeder's contract? Did you do a contract? If you didn't sign a contract before you sent somebody money for a puppy, again, get fucked. That's on you. That's not on the seller. As shady, to me, that's shady. Not doing a contract, that's a little shady. But that's not on him. That's your responsibility to say, hey, I need a contract. I need to make sure my ass is covered in case something goes down. Is it in that contract that says you get a replacement or a refund if this dog doesn't look exactly like this? If it is, then yeah, you have a leg to stand on. If the breeder is dumb enough to put that in his contract, yeah, you got a leg to stand on. You got something you can say, hey, this thing is... But again, it's subjective. You know what I'm saying? You could just say, because you need to pay your fucking water bill 1 month, hey, my puppy's not turning out. It doesn't have a 65-inch head. And get your refund. Like that's...
And this is one more reason why I'm always preaching that this game's never equal, and it's never going to be, because if the person has bought 25 puppies and this guy's bought his first one, he could get lucky, but chances are he's looking at cute puppies too, and really guessing at what they'll turn out like. And on another note,
but somebody like you, not to cut that off, hold that, but somebody like you who has seen so many litters and I mean, you've showed me stuff that was 3 days old, and Dark Horse, you showed me Dark Horse 3 days old, so this is going to be something. He is something. He is really something. Skids, you've seen him 3-4 days old, so this is going to be something. Even somebody like you who's seen that and can recognize that, you can't guarantee what a puppy's going to come out like.
No.
So you're dealing with Joe Shit the Rag Man, who's only had three litters of puppies his whole life, and taking his guarantee about what something's going to turn out to be. Like, there's responsibilities on the buyer. Go back to what you were saying.
There's a lot of responsibilities on the buyer.
It just drives me fucking bonkers, man. That shit fires me up so bad. Like,
and as much as society now wants to, put emotion and all that on everything, but yet at the same time expect that we can just trade this dog in for what?
Yeah, man.
Just trade this in?
Should I trade it in? We got a used Buick. Yeah. We got a 1988 Buick. You want to get traded in down there? You want to get $500 out of your Buick so you can upgrade to a new Cadillac, something like that?
So your pup
What the fuck are we talking about? That's a live pup. That's a I don't know.
So I think when your pup doesn't turn out, the best thing you can do is contact your breeder and speak with your breeder. You know, this pup's not turning out. They'll probably tell you it's in a stage, whatever. It's a pup still. But it's still your responsibility.
That's a big question. How old is this puppy you're saying is not turning out? If it's a 7-month-old puppy, shut the fuck up and wait 6 months and then tell me that it didn't turn out.
All right.
And I know you have the same feeling about refunds and people coming back a year later and trying to scam you for some sort of money back. I've been through it. You've been through it.
I'm not a bank. I'm not a bank. I don't want to be a bank. I tell people from jump, you know, this is how it is. This is what I guarantee. And if I need to replace a puppy, this is how it will go. But I'm not a bank. I know that before you come here. And
oh, hold on. Jamie Lynn Lauer. Shout out to Jamie. Thanks for watching. Jamie Lynn Lauer has a good point. She said, I could see a replacement pup if the pup was purchased as a show pup, if and only if the original pup had a genetic health problem or developed a disqualifying fault.
I don't.
But in order to do a replacement to the original, pup must be sent back to the breeder. That's where the contract comes in. That's where the contract comes in. If you got a puppy agreement with me, and I know you do as well, you have 1 year, up to a year. If there's a genetic defect or I don't know about disqualifying
defects
fault.
in the contract.
Right.
Name the defects in the contract. But as far as show, James, I can appreciate your question, and I know you're an average. What am I going to say? Yes, I know you show a lot, and I know that's your thing. But no breeder should be guaranteeing a winner or anything like that, because we all have a lot of changes, you know.
No, you just can't guarantee anything.
We have a lot of changes in that.
Can you guarantee how your children are going to look when they're adults?
Yeah.
Are you going to start guaranteeing? Are you going to go to the modeling company and say, here's my 6-year-old. I guarantee by the time he's 18, he's going to be your top model.
But I can tell you this. If you look at an 8-week-old puppy, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, you want a show dog, are you going to hope and pray that things that you see change? Or
you have to be experienced enough to recognize what you're seeing, though. This is the whole thing.
This is the whole thing of dogs right here. Learning the whole time.
And it's a process. And through that process, you're going to have to take some risks. That's why it's called buyer responsibilities. There are responsibilities that you have as a buyer, risks that you accept when you decide. No one held a gun to your head and said, hey, you need to breed dogs.
And it's all on you.
You decided to do that. You accepted the fact that I'm going to be a dog breeder, so you're now accepting certain responsibilities as a buyer. Trading a fucking live animal in, like you're going to a car dealership and trying to upgrade your shit. That's the scumbagest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm telling you, right now, even thinking about it, I want to message this motherfucker. If my phone wasn't on the live right now, I'd be messaging this piece of shit right now. If you want to tell this guy he's a piece of shit, go to Debatable, find that post, and tell this guy's a piece of shit. Just for me. So I'm Ty Lumley, so you're a piece of shit.
We have to be accountable for all our decisions, you know. It's not just the judge in the ring.
It's crazy to me.
That makes decisions. When you buy a puppy, you're the judge. You're the judge that day of how you're spending your money and on what. So
it comes down to having a vision, having a goal, knowing what you want to do, knowing what you actually want out of a dog, whether it's a Shorty Bull or American Bully, English Bulldog, Frenchie, whatever, fucking Norwich Terrier. You're responsible for the decisions you make. If somebody scams you, all right, I get it. Somebody scammed you, I get it. You want a refund. I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. Somebody sells you a dog with a bad heart. You want a refund. I understand that. It's not what I'm saying. Somebody sells you a dog that doesn't have any testicles. I understand that. It's not what I'm saying. If all you're saying is my puppy didn't turn out to look the way I want it to look and I want a refund, you can go fuck yourself. You want to trade it in, you also can go fuck yourself. Double time, 2 times.
I think we know how he feels about that.
That shit drives me so crazy. When I read that shit, my ears are boiling.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason Yo.
Jason Yo.
Is it Yo He or Yo?
It's Yo Jason.
Yo Jason. This is 100% why I don't buy puppies, Jason says. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either, Jason.
There's a lot of good breeders out there that can, especially with, contracts and stuff.
No, it's this simple.
I'm saying you should buy. You should feel comfortable buying puppies.
Do dogs enough that you believe in yourself. Know what you know from your own experience. Don't rely on anybody else. You want to know dogs? Do dogs that hard that you don't have to rely on everybody else. You don't have to read a book. You know. I can tell you I can go buy a beagle. I've never purchased a beagle in my life. But I guarantee you I know enough about dogs. I know the dog's a hunting dog. So what would I look for? This dog has to work. It has to hunt. It has to run. And it has to catch whatever little vermin. You know? I know enough about dogs. I'm not going to go to the beagle breeder and be like, I want the total package. I want a rabbit killing, catching machine that can cover ground I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go look at the beagles that I can afford, the best I can afford. I'm going to take what I know from my history of dogs and apply that. Okay? I'm not going to try to make a beagle a bulldog either.
That was what I was going to say. If you want to get a beagle, but you want a dog to stop traffic who's super impressive, and you're not really planning on chasing any rabbits, probably shouldn't get a beagle. Probably should leave the beagles alone. Probably should go find a different breed. If you want a dog to do agility work and dock jumping, 15-inch, 85-pound American bully with bones like baseball bats, probably not what you want.
Mm-hmm. But it's your own decision. Don't rely on anybody else. Do dogs hard enough that you can make a decision. Because that's the story of dogs. Decision after decision after decision. And trust me, if you buy a few, you'll get burned. And that'll be one of the best lessons ever for you. I can tell you many times when I've been burned, when I didn't listen to things my dad said, So, just believe in yourself.
Have enough balls to say, hey, I'm an idiot.
Believe in yourself and be accountable when you fall short. You're going to fall short sometimes, too.
Have enough balls to say you're an idiot when you're an idiot. For real. Take some fucking responsibility, man. And shut the fuck up on Debatable. All right. Malika actually just made a really good point. I'm a firm believer. First learn and educate yourself, then follow the breeder on the success. Take a chance of buying the puppy. If it don't turn out, place it in a pet home. Move on to the next one. You've learned a lesson. Mm-hmm. Now you know what the stuff matures like and how it grows, and you move on. I agree 100%.
I say this. To know the blood is to grow the blood.
Oh,
you
I got a
have
question
to
for
grow
you.
some things.
Go ahead. Keep going. I agree 100%. You got to see the process.
Yeah, you have to grow some things, and not just one. You have to grow some dogs, so you have a knowledge base to look back on that's your own.
Have you ever pulled the trigger on moving something out too fast because it was in a bad stage and you didn't think it was ever going to come out of it,
many
and then
times,
regretted
yes,
it?
Yes, many times.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially
multiple times.
With American Bulldogs, because their growing stage is so.
It's bad.
Whoa, it takes forever, like they're
They get 19 inches in the first 5 months,
my.
and then it takes the rest of their life to fill the frame in.
Yeah, it's hard to wait on that.
Okay, here's a question specifically for Jamie Sweet.
Okay.
Lori Search A.
Mm-hmm.
Search -A. Boy, made that easy for a guy, didn't you? Is it acceptable to remove the dew claws on Shorty bulls?
I'd say that's personal preference.
Dew claws on most breeds, huh? Personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it hurts anything? Do you think there's any negatives?
No, I don't think it hurts anything. One of the reasons that dew claws are removed on certain breeds of dogs is because when they're hunting, they get caught on things
And rip off.
Yeah.
Explain to people who, if you're watching the show, you don't know what a dew claw is.
Okay.
What the fuck are you doing here? Thanks for watching. But explain to the people who might not know what the dew claw actually is.
The dew claw is located right here on the dog's foot. It's the little small toe.
Yeah, the fifth nail on the inside of your dog's leg.
And so sometimes those are removed when they're infants, mainly for hunting dogs. But it's a personal preference.
Do you think it creates a cleaner look for like a show dog for in the ring? Do you think
I
judges
guess
even
for
notice
some.
that shit?
As a judge, I don't, and I don't unless it's if it's a hunting dog or it has a job to do.
Right. If it's in the standard,
Yeah.
dew claw is removed, not allowed, then I probably would pay attention to it. If we get to the American Bully to a point where I'm focused on dew claws,
Right.
I'll be a
That's great.
happy motherfucker.
That's great.
Because that means that ring's full of quality examples of the breed to the point where I can't tell them apart. Now I'm checking for dew claws.
Yeah.
We get to that point, I'll be a happy son of a bitch. I promise you.
But Lori, if you wanna take those dew claws off,
On Shorty bulls, do you think
Yeah.
there's any advantages to taking them to remove them?
oh, it's a cleaner look. I've never had a Shorty bull get a dew claw hooked on anything ever
Right.
in my life.
But have
It's
you
one
ever-
less nail you have to trim. I mean, for me, that would be the best advantage. That's it.
Yeah, especially if you got a litter of
And
10.
you kind of know how I am at trimming nails. If you don't,
No, but if you have a litter of
I've-
10, even
Yeah.
at 8 weeks when you're clipping nails, that's 20. That's 20 less nails.
but is it necessary? No.
Have you ever seen the studies on sometimes when they're removed, it affects a nerve that's in there, and that actually causes easty-westy?
That sounds like some straight up bullshit.
Sounds like bro science to me,
That
guys.
sounds like the mother that keeps stepping on those puppy tails and getting them kinked, and they get shut the door.
Man, I
don't know.
had 6
it
puppies.
could be though. It could be.
I had 6 puppies. 5 of them got their tail stuck in the door.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and the other 7, I took their dew claws off.
But no, I personally, personal preference, I don't fuck with the dew claws. I have no problem clipping toenails. But I've seen a couple that have had them removed. It is a cleaner look.
It is probably
It is
a cleaner look.
especially if you got real tight feet at the bottom of that. It's like a straight pillar under the dog. Like, it's a cleaner look for sure. I just have never. It's not something I've ever done. I've never docked a tail myself. I've never removed the dew claw. I've never even worried about that. But I've never had a breed to where that was in the conversation. I've never had a Rottweiler where you
That was a
worry
good
about
question,
the tail.
though. That was a good one.
Great question. Excuse me. What do we got here? Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Quick, who's that guy? Who's the singer?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. I don't see actually any more questions in here. I see a bunch of comments. I see people are having a good time. We're looking for questions. So, okay. Also, you pointed out a thing to me yesterday that I wanted to talk about before we got off here also. There was a article you read, or a lady had shared her experience at an emergency vet.
Yeah, that was a sad.
Can you remember the details to that?
Yeah, she had a dog that was pregnant, and it had some more time to go. It was very near its due date, and it was over a holiday. And her normal vet was, I don't know if they
Completely closed on the holiday.
something.
No
Anyway.
one was reachable at her normal vet on the holiday.
So the dog has one puppy at home, and the next puppy is trouble. I think it's stuck, or anyway, she has to go.
Right, had 2
Yeah, something like that.
stillborns.
Yeah, that's right.
Had 2 stillborns, had a third puppy, third live puppy, natural birth, and then
The next one was
stuck.
stuck.
Right.
Yeah. So chooses to go to the emergency vet, and she comes out. She has a $4,000 bill for this surgery. Well, they wouldn't even start to help her until
Wouldn't touch her dog until she paid this bill
paid the
up
money.
front.
Okay, it's a holiday. The banks are closed. So it took her almost 2 hours to gather up the money before the vet would start, which is very dangerous with a pregnant dog. So 2 hours later, the emergency vet does surgery and presents this lady with a litter of dead puppies that had deceased, and he spayed her dog due to a bad infection, he told her. He
Did not ask her permission to spay this
Right.
dog. Said that she had a bad infection and spayed the dog on his own. Made a decision on his
After
own.
he let this dog sit in labor with trouble for 2 hours because he was not getting paid. Okay? That's real important to me. Hands the woman the box of dead puppies and tells her she'll need to dispose of them, or it'll be an additional charge to the $4,000.
She's got to take her own. She's got to take her own box of deceased puppies home with her to dispose of on her own, or they're going to charge her more money on top of the $4,000 they already charged her to spay her fucking dog without permission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel my heart goes out to this lady. That's a horrible experience
I wish we had the name of the vet.
for anybody.
The name of the vet wasn't in the article. I don't know if she's going to put it out there. I wish we had the name of this vet, because I would tell you guys to never go there. Never.
But you know, I think we're very fortunate where we live in a rural area.
You think that's common?
I do in the cities. I think it's extremely common in larger cities.
City vets, man.
At the universities, I think it's very, very common. And my heart goes out to you guys that this happens to. I can't imagine a vet spaying my dog. This was her first litter too, I believe. I believe that the dog's young.
It blows my mind, and I've talked to our vet about this a couple of times. Blows my mind how arrogant these fucking vets are to spay a dog without even mentioning it, to not even say, hey, what do you think, or didn't even say a word to her. Spayed the dog without even a conversation. How arrogant! Like, honestly, if you spay my shit without talking to me first, there's going to be a fucking fight in your vet's office. I don't even condone that shit. I don't like that shit. I try to stay away from it. I promise you I would not be able to hold myself in control if somebody spayed my dog without my permission, without even talking to me about it. If there was an infection, we need to have a conversation. Because if you spill that infection in my bitch, she's going to die anyway.
Okay, but even before that, he waited 2 hours after the dog presented with problem. There was a 2-hour wait. To me, that's murder.
Two extra hours with a female contracting and something stuck. So that uterus is just... I can't imagine the pain she was in, first of all, trying to push a puppy out for 2 hours, not being able to pass it. And the stress that she was under. And then for the owner to basically get scammed and forced to pay this crazy bill because it was a holiday. I just wanted you to talk about it because I preach all the time. Having a relationship with a breeder-friendly veterinarian is probably your biggest asset. If you want to breed dogs seriously, have a breeder-friendly veterinarian.
And good luck finding one of those. They're very hard to find. Again, that's why breeders need to ask your vet all those things. All those scenarios could happen to you. It could be possible. Find out. That's something you probably don't think about.
Insanity.
In the instance of this, what happens? It's also a message to everybody out there. Before you even think of breeding your dog, find a vet, find out the expenses, have that little fund set aside for an emergency. I mean, always you need that.
You're always going to, at some
Yeah.
point throughout the year, you're going to use that. If you don't, count it as a blessing and move on to the next year.
Right, because these things happen and none of us expect them sometimes, and the next thing you know, it's trouble.
Because we're dealing with live animals. We're not reproducing Hot Wheels cars. We're dealing with live animals. Shit is going to happen. You know, you got kids. Your kids are sick, or you know, you never see the conditions they have coming, and they out of nowhere it could be diseases, and out of nowhere it could be asthma and diabetes, and it could be 100 million things. The same thing is with dogs. So if you 5, 6, 7, 8 dogs, expect there to be some complications.
And as much as we preach about being accountable, it's our responsibility too. We have to do our part to be accountable to the vets too. Right. Some things the vets can't fix, they can't save, they can't change. You know, we need to pay our bills. We need to, you know, it's a two-way street here. It is definitely a two-way street.
Fucking Joel Vargas.
So,
Joel. It's Frankfurt. There's a T on the end, Joel. He goes, we found a great vet. Frankfurt, baby. With a D. Hey, Joel, it's a T on there.
Frankfurt.
No, but...
that's good. That's good. But, you know, all those things are important, but we need to also keep in mind that the way we need to treat the vet with respect, you know, and all those things as well.
I treat my relationship with the vet like most people do with their family doctor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not lying to him about shit. Mm-hmm. He's not judging me about shit. He's a breeder himself. He knows the life that we live. It's just it's super comfortable, and I've said this 100 times. That's my biggest reason for, you know, making sure I have that relationship is because if shit goes sideways, you want to have somebody that you can trust taking care of your shit.
There's
somebody
absolutely
that you know.
no way I would even attempt to raise dogs in a city. There's absolutely no way. I couldn't do it. I would have my one. I wouldn't do it. It would make me.
And we're not saying all veterinarians in the city are shitty. That's
no,
not what we're saying.
99% of them are. No, I'm kidding.
We're just saying you have a higher chance because in the rural areas, you're going to have more farm vets. You're going to have more large animal vets. You're going to have more opportunities to have fine quality vets. In the city, you're going to, from our experience, from my experience, speaking for myself, you're going to have people that are trying to take advantage of you. Also, people that are following these anti-breeder media propaganda campaigns that these motherfuckers run. I don't know. I just think that's to me, one of the most important things you could ever do is have a vet you can at least trust, a breeder-friendly vet that you can trust. I can't imagine coming out. First of all, I can't even imagine not being in there for a C-section. You know, pulling puppies out, cleaning them off myself. Can't even imagine it.
I have to go check on this right quick.
But I cannot imagine what my reaction would be if I walked in and the doc said, "Oh, by the way, I had to spay your bitch."
Hey, this one wants me to go.
Anyway, that is episode 80. There's still a couple of questions on here. We're already 90 minutes into this thing, so I'm shutting it down. We're going to enjoy a nice little Sweet Life Sunday dinner. As always, if you guys want to find older episodes of the podcast, you're on Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV's page right now. Check out the older videos that we have on here. All the older episodes of the podcast. The video version can be found on youtube.com/Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV. iTunes, if you're subscribed to iTunes, leave us a rating. If you're not subscribed to iTunes yet, search the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast. If you want to find all of that shit in one space, in one little package, go to Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. I love your fucking faces, people. We'll see you next week. Is it going to go off? I was going to answer this last question about English Bulldogs.
Oh.
What's up, dude?
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh. You know what it is.
Yeah, something. It's
Yeah.
gonna.
Shut that off, would you?